That's probably your job, if you mentioned it, I guess.
Man, yes. You want one?
No,
You should. They keep my mouth from getting dry here. I did bring a bottle of water here soon. This 6 degrees in the morning stuff, I thought we would pass that. Yeah. It's pretty chilly this morning. I went for a walk with my dog and it looked like it was gonna be nice, but it was cold. So Dallas isn't here today, are you all aware? No. Okay, Dallas isn't here, his dad's in hospital, he's with his dad. So we're going to have cameras up and until about 2 o'clock, and then with all the executive sessions, Nikki's just gonna shut it off and we won't turn it back on. Okay. So I'll make that announcement when we start the meeting. So that is. No, not me. Jeff wanted to know why I didn't run gas today. He would be a little lost. Okay. How are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm doing well. Are you Brian?
I am, yeah.
Bye. Brian, you are very on time. Good.
I'm fortunate. I had a couple pre-construction meetings prior, and they got over this good time.
Due to the nature of our agenda and how this thing works, I can't ask you until 1:30. So if you've got something else you want to do,
Okay.
feel free to do it.
I needed to be here from 1 to 1:30.
We got you on at 1:30 on the agenda, 1:30 to 2. Is that a problem?
No.
I'm just going with the agenda, so I'm sorry if there's confusion.
Yeah, I think that's where it happened. I was told I had to be here, basically no later than 1:15 because I've been kicked out at 1:30.
Gosh, makes it sound rough.
You should make her buy you lunch right now.
Yeah, there's
Well,
some
misrepresentatives.
Yeah.
What are you in the mood for? We're the typical, small town, Chinese food, Mexican food, Sonic, McDonald's,
Well,
Subway, there's
maybe
Subway. too.
Mexican or fine.
Well,
But I may run to basic, yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. Thank you. Sorry.
No, not a problem at all.
Okay,
I have to move those.
right on. We'll see you in a bit
Thank you,
then.
guys.
It is actually 1 o'clock already, so. Okay, it's 1 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Start with the pledge here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right again. Father, we come to you, Lord, again today. We need your help, Lord, doing the business of the people around the county. Father, guide our minds and our hearts and our mouths, words and our thoughts and our ideas and all the words we say. They come from you, Lord, and they do honor to the people who live here, and honor to your holy name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay. Morning or afternoon, Chris, how are you? I'm well, okay. It's 1 o'clock. First thing we have is our county personnel or public comment. I'll state for the people watching today, we are short one IT professional. So we'll have the cameras on here until 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, we have a lot of executive sessions coming up, so they're not televised anyway. So we will shut the recording off at 2. If you have any questions about what happened, feel free to give either one of the commissioners a call, and we will fill you in on what happens outside of the executive session. So with that, is there any county personnel or public comment? And if you just couldn't be here right at 1 o'clock, like always, if you have something to say and you're here, we will make time for you. All right, we'll move on to the first item on our agenda for today, and that is the minutes from the 17th. Are there additions, corrections, or comments to the minutes as presented?
I don't have any questions regarding the minutes as presented.
Okay, Bill? All right, is there a motion to approve them?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of 2/17.
Is there a second?
1 second.
Moved and seconded. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. Item number 2 is the payroll from February 18th.
I had a quick question that, there's a line item on the payroll that says SW pay. And I was trying to,
I think, is that,
The dollar not
$350?
yeah,
always.
okay, extra duties at the landfill then.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, do we understand what those extra duties are? Ever come up before?
Yes. Let's take care of the CDs, that's the. What we need.
Okay. Well, if it's solid waste or whatever, I could also talk to Don, he would know, right?
Good.
I mean,
We kind of put that on when he started, he was supposed to do more work out there than just sitting back there. Is that right or not?
okay,
That's when it came up anyway. He's
Okay.
supposed to be covering that.
well, if you guys don't mind, I'll talk with Don and just see when it came about or what he thinks and
That's good,
let you guys know.
because we need to review it.
Okay, very good. I had another question. So again, Kansas law, this is probably a federal law. I didn't look it up, but I noticed that on some payroll, there is, for instance, 3/4 of an hour. Is that fairly normal with you guys? We're not rounding up to an hour. Okay,
But there's one that was 43 minutes or something.
okay. I just wanted to make sure. I think that was the first time I caught like 3/4 of an hour on time instead of like a half hour or a full hour. So I just had a question about that. Those were my only 2 questions regarding the payroll.
Okay,
My question was, there's the one employee that was working in kind of two different jobs. And he got a lot of overtime on the high paying one and not so much on the, yeah, I don't. No, it went, no, it was,
help us out there, which department?
down the street,
Okay,
works in the jail and in the sheriff's department. And I don't have a problem doing both of them, but it seems a little strange when you has a lot of overtime, it's, higher paid.
Yeah. So. Walk in and walk out and keep it says
So Bill, if you don't mind, I'll talk to Don regarding the one question I had. You want to talk to the sheriff regarding your question?
Okay.
Okay.
that works. Talk to the managers.
Yep.
They'll answer your questions. Anything else?
I do not have any other questions regarding payroll.
Didn't either. Bill?
No.
Okay, so there's no more questions. Is there a motion to approve the payroll of 2/18/26?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Moving on, number 3 is the tonnage report from the landfill.
with, they explain whether it's a year and questions on that, but that's not, we have to wait for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the last time I had some questions on the tonnage report, obviously we sign it, we don't put it together, and I talked to Don and he kind of walked through it and and I understand it a lot better now, and he's basically accounting for what's leaving that landfill. And obviously, he's the manager down there, so we have to trust that he's accurately accounting for the amount of tons that's leaving the landfill.
And staying. Right.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
yeah, okay. So did you have any questions on that?
No, just a whole lot of the C and D came from out of state. Like pretty near 2/3, over 2/3 of it.
And so from the landfill perspective, actually, that's not a bad business model because we can keep
Right.
that
All right, but
on site and that's money coming in that
Yeah.
otherwise would. C and D is kind of our friend though.
but that's filling up your landfill faster, out of state stuff.
So,
But it's for making a profit on it. It's
And I asked some questions.
It's a comment on it.
Yeah, Bill, I asked some questions regarding the landfill when I was out there a couple times ago. So the projections right now, according to the latest projections, are is that we have enough space out there for about another 50 years doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
So that was
Right.
good to hear. And I understand the concern of, we're filling it up with waste that doesn't come, but it does generate more revenue.
Right,
So,
so,
there's a grade out there, there's a level, and I'm pretty certain it's the floor in the tipping, like the concrete in the tipping floor, and you can take that and eyeball that all the way out. And you can fill that ground up to that certain level. And Don said we've got a lot of time.
just a comment that
Yeah.
a lot of it's coming from there.
Okay,
Not necessarily that it was bad, just that it was.
understood. All right, so does anyone want to make a motion to approve the tonnage report?
I'll make a motion to approve the tonnage report as it's presented.
Is there a second?
I'll say that.
Moved and seconded. Any more discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. All right, now item number 4.
So this is one that obviously Don's not here to answer, but I was just wondering, so there are people right now that he's currently using that are doing this. Do you guys know, is this above and beyond who he's using, or is he asking for?
Contract stuff.
Okay. Okay, and we're assuming that the person that's doing it is gonna reapply, hopefully,
Yeah.
or submit a bid, hopefully.
So, I don't know if you got this, but the guy that first had the contract, he kind of quit, and then this other guy is fulfilling the rest of the contract,
Mhm.
so,
Yeah, that's the way I understood it.
yeah.
Yeah, hopefully, maybe Don Stockholm, hopefully he plans on submitting a bid again, because obviously we need somebody to do it, and hopefully there'll be more than one.
Yep, so it's,
There was 4 or 5 that submitted the last time we went through this, so.
Okay.
Okay, so basically we're allowing, if we approve this, we're allowing Dawn to seek bids for the trash. So, everybody good with this form, everything he's asking, did anything change since the last one? I didn't see it.
I don't think so, because all the comments on from the last one.
Okay. Okay.
So always. What you kind of want. On the website and.
I think if it goes to both of those, then we've,
And then.
I was gonna say, do you have a way of looking what we did last time, or?
Would it be prudent to send it to the companies that bid the last time? Or do we, okay. Do you need a motion to approve this or just by consensus?
Have you people. You'll.
Okay, go ahead and make the motion to approve this solicitation for bids, I guess.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Is there a second?
second,
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 aye,
Okay, motion carried. Really moving quickly. The next on the list is the occupational license. Excuse me. At the casino. Any questions on this?
I'm gonna use the word assume, but I'm assuming they do this once a year, and this is just kind of formality, because they've already been serving alcohol there, right?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Well,
so maybe you can answer this question, how come the one is for just every year, and then the other permit is for 2 years.
So we invite them for that.
Somebody didn't notice before. It was, you know,
Okay. All right, anyone want to make a motion to approve this?
I move we approve it. The
I'll second it.
Okay, we're talking about,
occupation license and drinking establishment and license.
okay, all right, you still want a second?
I will second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion?
For the second Fox pursuit.
Okay. All right, so we're clear what we're doing. You moved it, you seconded it, so I'd like to think there. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, motion carried. I just didn't mean to hit you with a paint pen, we just collided and I'm sorry. Okay, item number 6 is the Lloyd Group engagement letter. This is the group we contracted with last year to help us with the budget process.
So is there an increase in cost in this? When I go through it, it talks about cost, but I didn't know if they're increasing their cost or what kind of a percentage they were increasing.
Last year was $25,000.
Okay.
And he didn't, to my knowledge, didn't charge us any additional for mileage or travel or any of that.
Yeah, and he talks about it being an estimate of 25, but last year he didn't have any escalators in there, right? So in other
No.
words, okay.
They did comment that he was doing more than what he figured on doing.
Which was also typical of a first year county. So I think this year we should have a better handle on it. And we
Right.
have to be very conscious of time and travel because he comes from Galva, which is down by the first.
So the firm, when they're actually doing this, who do they interact with most in the courthouse? Is it you? Okay. How did that go last year?
Was what?
Law.
Yeah, what?
A lot of requests for information.
And back. Instead of all the big meetings, we not necessarily be there now. And then you're in the department and to get together, the department meetings.
So before we enter into an agreement, is there anything that would help you? In other words, if they were to kind of give you an outline of what they need, when they need it, before they did it? Okay. And that
Yeah, I
works.
don't know that we'll get that rate for the state in the department. No, but, right.
So, Richard, before I got here, the clerk basically did most of the budget work. Is that right? For a while.
John Gordon.
John
We
Gordon.
would give them the number. Their. Figure that on, like, if we use the grant this month and this one, go down. So like that, for different scenarios.
Okay. The only reason I'm asking these questions is because, you know, the audits that I've been involved with, as you go through them, they're not smooth. They usually, you know, take a lot of time from the people with, like what we're talking about, their normal job. So I always try to, as we go into the next one, identify, can we make it go a little smoother next year by having this kind of information or, you know, knowing what they're going to want and at least ask these questions. So it sounds like, you know, you're not coming up with like, this was a real problem or whatever. It's just the overall process is time consuming and that's kind of where we're going into. So
So the Lloyd Group, do you remember the paper I showed you that showed our expenses over revenues?
Yes.
7 years.
yes,
So that's our data, but he put that in.
right.
So that's the group that. I guess shine the light.
And that would have been the group that highlighted overtime last year, right? Was that one of the items that they were talking about? Making sure that the projected overtime doesn't exceed by so much?
A lot of stuff happened.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, well, I mean, it sounds like the company did a good job or a reasonably good job and we're entering back in and it doesn't look like it's going to cost more than it did last year. It's always the first thing I look at is if we're gonna use them again, is there any kind of way we can keep the cost the same? It looks like they are, so that would be my questions. I guess, Nikki, if there's anything that comes up through it that you could have us request next time or would make your job a little smoother, let us know, please.
Yeah. What was- It's not on my. Not that one.
And so I read into that, we have department heads that are elected officials, so obviously they're taking care of their own world. But maybe we could let them know that it helps if they're attending these meetings, correct? The commissioners could, okay, that was my questions.
Okay. So I thought they seemed pretty flexible last year. Again, it's the first year, first time, kind of getting to know each other, getting to know everybody in and out of courthouse. This year, the schedule doesn't look too much different than what it was last year. We did have an extra virtual meeting, I think, with him when we were trying to nail down the final.
Yeah, almost think it came up with time with him more actually than they planned on.
Yeah. Because it was a challenge.
Did a lot.
But. Okay, so, and we had this budgeted. We planned on it, so it's not an additional over budget cost. So if we're still comfortable with it. And we still want to proceed. I mean, do you still want to proceed? That's the question.
Yeah, I don't, there wasn't anything raised that would make us not want to, so I would vote to proceed.
Okay, so we. Yes, need a motion then to go ahead and sign this and proceed with the contract with the Lloyd Group for budget help for 2027.
Okay, I would make a motion to accept the Lloyd Group engagement letter as it was presented.
Is there a second?
I would second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
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 I
Motion carried. All right. Item number 7 is the township.
So your email today, that was the last one you were needing, correct? Okay.
So the township reports, if you back out to your Brown County team folder. Mine's at the top. It says the annual township reports. Yours is a little different. You just back out to the Dropbox. There you go. That
Alright. My question on this last one, was there, and I just reading off the email, I haven't read this all. The general fund expenditures. Is that in here?
Are you looking at the totals at the beginning?
Well, no, I'm looking at like. On the road things, they have expenditures all itemized.
Huh?
Under general fund expenditures? Is that
Yeah,
what you're looking at?
yeah,
Okay.
and I don't see any itemized general fund expenditures. There's the receipts, but I don't see. Maybe that's not required.
Oh, they're missing a page. Is that possible? Okay. So he's on Laurel Township.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
on the same page you are there.
Yeah, you're right. It's just missing a page. If I go up to like Hanover Township, they have the general fund expenditure page, so. Well, we can, I guess, correct that, and it will be today. We can ask for.
So,
Or you gonna make much difference for it.
They have it under, that they've got it broke down on a different page, but it's not itemized is what you're talking about.
Yeah, they show the numbers, we just don't see.
So it's not, not that big a deal.
All right, or okay, let's. You raise that issue, what about questions on other townships? You have any? No? What about you?
No, I went through them yesterday and this morning, and it's obviously they're self-reporting, they're managing their own townships. It looks, I understand that that backup isn't there, but they did have it broke down at the top, so I mean, in the past, when we're looking at these once a year, correct? Has there been, key issues in the past? Do you remember?
So,
So if we
Is,
go to
is that part of, the Lloyd group when they're looking and auditing? Do they get into this at all?
no, the township details.
okay. So when we get to, say here at the end, Washington Township, their last page, and total expenditures exceed budget authority. And then it says in red, it exceeds the reduced transfer amount. What? The rest of it looks fine, but that one sticks out. I'm on Washington, the last page, well, excuse me, page 3 of 16 of Washington.
Yeah. So when I look at that, to me, that means that they would be raising their mills, correct?
I asked about it, something balanced in theirs when they put the numbers in here, that it didn't work. And that was a question. She said their books are right, but on this form, it's not. I've had that happen to me before in some state forms that you fill in. But as far as we're concerned, the report is what it is. Okay, okay. And as far as Morrill Township and being just one page short is what it is. If we approve these things, you know, we can still ask questions. And really, I don't think we have much authority anymore, right? We're just
That's kind of why I'm trying to understand this. They're not under our purview, but we're still approving it.
Yeah, it's information. So the beauty of these township reports is like we had Irving Township last year, and there was checks written, and it didn't make much sense until I understood that part of that, we got some individuals actually put in the gap and funding, and they're being reimbursed when the funding comes in.
Correct.
So that answers that. And it's actually fun to look and compare townships and see, you know, who's got what and who doesn't have much. And
Sure.
there's some
And
disparities.
if you look at the 10 different townships and you look at the amount of revenue that they bring in, there's a couple that bring in almost double, if not more than double than the others based off of their revenue. So obviously they're having much easier go at it.
Yeah,
I wonder if the people of Irving Township appreciate that they've got leaders that are stepping up like that.
yeah,
I would hope so.
yeah, I would hope so too. I don't mean to get anyone
Right.
in a pickle for saying that. I just,
No,
these
no,
reports
they-
show us that, and yeah, people are stepping up to plug the gaps when it needs to. So
Yeah.
is there any, if there's no more discussion on this, we can go ahead and just approve them as presented, acknowledging that we're gonna get one more piece of paper from Morrill Township. Would that be all right? Then we want to make that motion? I'll move we approve the township reports as presented. Understanding that we will still be receiving one more page. Morrill Township. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Have you heard from Mr. Parker?
I did. He was in a couple of meetings and hopefully gonna be able to call in here when he's done, but we also had a meeting where it's it's City Hall today too, so.
Good. A lot of meetings.
I can check.
All right. got a few minutes. So at our work session last Thursday, we talked about sending an email to our title, excuse me, our new tax sale firm about the possibility of using local title company. So since we don't make decisions in that meeting, we just talk about stuff. Now we make a decision. Is that something that we would like to pursue? Would you like me to send an email?
I think, but the, yeah, I think that if it's possible, use our local people,
Okay.
if that's,
Is that
That's
something I
something-
can draft on my own, or do you want me to draft it and send it to you, or send it to Nikki and get it approved, or how do we want to do that?
So can Lucas call them and just ask where we are right now, if that's going to be a problem? Because we're not trying to create a problem for Linda Austin, we're trying to keep this thing going. But they did say in that meeting that if we, that's the whole reason I brought it up. They said if we had somebody, they'd be. And so,
Okay.
I think that, I don't know if it has to be more formal than you just simply calling and saying, hey, where are you at? And we have 2 local people that would like a chance to bid. What will that do to you? Because
I can certainly do that.
yeah,
That's no
I think at the very least, we owe
Okay.
the business owners in this town.
And you mentioned something where we are. I sent her, she sent an email last Friday, I think, that, did you get an email about? Right on, okay, I couldn't see if that happened, so there should be an email from Glenda Osterman that she sent to the treasurer and I sent to forwarded to Nikki, telling where they are exactly in the process, and actually a little more information about what they're doing.
Yep.
Did it
um,
come in?
Yes,
what day was that?
Would have been today.
Oh, today.
so when when they talked to us before, they basically listed like 8 steps that they had to get through, and the first step was ours, and that's been completed. Yep.
He didn't get it. Okay, so I'll call her and just ask.
Yeah, I think just a simple call, just to see.
Do that.
Also, Austin updated, he left that other meeting and he should be here by 1:40 to 1:50 in person.
Really? Okay. Hi there. Brian,
Yeah.
if you want to come on up here, it's almost 1:30. You did that just perfectly.
I had 3 minutes.
Did you bring us lunch then, or?
Well, I was thinking, you want fuel?
So the answer is no.
No, I presume you guys have already.
Okay, it's 1:30. We have you on the schedule, Brian Jones from Herzog.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks for coming.
I've been talking with Brian the last couple of years. We were discussing alternatives on the road, on Prairie. So. And I showed him the samples that Vance Brothers produced from that, so.
Yeah, so I was invited over here. I don't have an actual agenda. Basically, they're to be able to answer any questions you guys have and help out in any possible manner. I have provided what I think would be a viable structural treatment for that road. The road is an existing chip seal road on gravel, has a pretty heavy crown to it. So to try to smooth up that crown and smooth the road out, we would construct what we would consider a wedge and overlay. You go through the wedge course and try to smooth out any of the irregularities on the road, and then you come back with the uniform overlay on top of that. And then provide you both structure and a smooth road.
So wedge is new to me. Wedge over
Wedge.
Okay. What is that?
It's the same material. It'll have finer aggregates in it. We'll use on the Missouri site, we call the surface level of this. So the 1/2 inch minus mix.
Almost like they use in the parking lot then?
No.
It's larger than that. Okay.
Finer. Yeah. But it would be a DOT approved mix.
The wedge is used to describe just a layer of pavement. It's not
Correct.
mechanical.
No,
Okay.
well, it's labeled paver, but the screech drop down on the pavement for the most part.
Okay.
When you have a heavy crown on a chip seal road, the screed cannot bend, it's flat. So if your road's crowned like this, on the edge, the center you'll be laying about 0. And on the edges, you'll be laying double.
Yep.
And then it'll also correct any irregularities to the extent possible, depending on the condition. But there's a percent improvement maximum that you can achieve on that. You're not going to have perfect unless you do 2 or 3 roads. But it'll help out tremendously. But then at the same time, it is also. So we do these treatments on county roads. All over northwest Missouri and then your guys' neighbors. Probably 5 years.
So in your experience, obviously every road is different and the subgrade is super important out there. I believe we've done some core samples and it shows that supposedly the subgrade is in decent condition. I don't know if that means it, it was compacted to a certain percent or what their parameters were, but on a road like Prairie, you've looked at it. If you guys were to do this process, what would be an expected life cycle of that process? 20 years. Okay. Would there be maintenance during that 20 years to keep it, to make it to 20 or?
So asphalt pavement is only as good as.
Right.
The condition of that road, I would also agree with it's in pretty good shape. I did not notice any areas that was soft yielding. But even with a 3-inch wedge and overlay, if you do have some areas, maybe old heavy grain traffic. They'll fail, so they'll have to be filled in place. Are any of those going to happen or occur in that pavement section? I don't know. But right now, the existing road looks structurally sound. Outside of that, the only other preventative maintenance that I would suggest or recommend would be crack fill. But outside of that,
So would you even do a crack filling prior to doing that? So they don't come back up through?
your reflective cracking will have to be the way.
Okay.
Whether you crack fill or not, reflective cracking.
So how many miles is, I'm looking here trying to,
It's almost exactly 3 miles.
it's 3 miles.
So for the pavement itself, that treatment is roughly 280,000. It's not. On a normal rural road, such as that, that's not an existing chip seal road or that has already been crown corrected, we would typically recommend a 1-inch. So at that point in time, you'd be looking at 90,000.
So how did, John, is this stretch right there, is that something we talked to them about, or did you guys run it and say this is the stretch?
No, he mentioned the.
Going from 290 to 320. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And 290th is approximately where you and I went out. Isn't
Yes,
that
that's
right?
when we turned around that day.
Okay,
Or we could go on south to Jerry's line or 240, whatever, you just.
yeah, so depending on what your guys' ultimate long-term plan is, I would have recommended you start at the furthest north location that you think you may go to and work your way back south.
so what we're trying to do is, we've got what, 270 miles
Yeah.
of road that, and of the 200,
Surface.
yeah, and of the 270, there is, a percentage of that are what I would consider the haul roads in the county, more than, not every chip and sealed road gets as much truck traffic as certain roads do.
And what percentage do you believe?
I don't know, I would say probably 40% of the county roads would be haul roads, and that's just, I'm just thinking about a couple of the roads that I'm
That's a
talking
big
about,
number.
but that's not scientific. It's
Yeah.
just,
That's a lot of money.
and we're trying to figure out a way to reduce our exposure over time. We feel that chip and seal is more of a Band-Aid at this point.
It is, it has its place for certain. Somebody's building a new road out on the gravel, that would be my first recommendation, with chip seal over it. That way, rather than an initial full depth pavement. Whereas if you had a gravel road and you wanted my recommendation on how to get a full depth pavement on there, I would tell you you need 6 inches. Put a 4-inch base of pavement on there, do it full on. If you wanted to go a cheaper route, I would suggest you do the chip seal for wait a couple of years. Find any soft spots, repair those, and then do it.
Do you guys perform chip and seal? You do? Okay. Do
We
you-
used to have chip.
So. I'm assuming you're coming out of St. Joe, correct? Elwood, okay, and then the main office is over in St. Joe.
Correct.
Okay, so you're handling, how far do you guys go out of that? I mean, are you talking
I will.
all the
range
way to
it-
western Kansas or no?
No, out of any given plant location, I will reach as far as 30 miles potentially. It depends on the size of the project.
Right.
This is a small project, however, it is of such size that if it were 100 miles, I'd probably look at one. Maybe 80.
Right.
But even then, you have to have a local asphalt aggregate quality.
Sure. So are you guys doing grind and overlay projects or, okay? The reason I'm asking all these kind of questions, because obviously you're one of the big hitters in this area. And so we're also looking at what are other counties doing now?
Yeah.
Because everybody's kind of in the same boat with the budgets, the rising cost, aggregate oils, all that kind of stuff.
I do not know the price of chip seals right now, but Nottaway County is very familiar with them and we're cost of that and asphalt overlay.
Yeah, they're
If you have
actually,
not talked to them,
they're subcontracting out their chip seal now, aren't they?
yes. Yeah. So they're still doing some of it, they're trying to go away from, it. They have 3 commissioners over there, the Eastern Western and Central, and the Eastern is more favorable towards asphalt, less favorable for chip seal than the Western commissioner, and then the Central commissioner's kind of, but he has been doing some more overlays.
Okay. Well, everything we do, obviously, when it's a lot more expensive than chip and seal, then we look at it, how long does it take that out of the rotation?
That's why I said,
And so these guys are used to doing 90 miles approximately a year. And so every time we look at trying to fix something, does it allow them to not have to do 90 miles? And
that's the general rule of thumb that I would tell people, is we need to do that. So you can look at cost of bond inflation and everything, there's one of the character. What I would say, we typically see as a company taking. Not to mention, you remember had a lot higher quality road.
right.
Regulation.
Yeah, we've got 2 problems. Number one, some of the roads, the way they are with the crown and the dips, they're not good roads to travel in semi trucks. But then we also have the problem of, as they're degrading, they're costing us more money to keep them just in that current condition. I mean, if we chip and seal over a road that has ruts in it, we still have the ruts in it, so.
Your roads are also wide.
I think the farmers would argue.
Well, they may, but
So when you say that, what do you consider a road?
well, a typical rural road is either 20 to 25. And then a primary is 24.
Mhm.
And
So
then primary, then a
12 and
prim-
12 travel.
Then a primary with shoulders, like either 2 or 4 shoulders. So you can either have a primary, which is 28, and then 30.
Mhm.
You got 26, a pretty strong 26.
You're talking about Prairie Road, because not all roads in the county are the same.
Yeah, I'm speaking of this road. And I mentioned that, if you wanted to look at trying to reduce cost on these roads, if you have a 26-foot road section. I don't think that I would necessarily recommend you pay the 26-foot limits.
you'd end up with basically a shoulder that remains that's part of the old structure.
Well, no, you need to do aggregate shoulder backfill. You didn't cover it, so
Okay.
bad thing about that,
Would that hold on that depth though?
well, that's bad piece of that.
Right.
It may not, it's not, right? It just depends on how much traffic gets off on that shoulder. If traffic doesn't, then it's probably going to be fine. And unless you have an area that's getting a bunch of runoff thing on it.
Right now, there's a lot of sprayers and fertilizer applicators.
Yeah, they
Running
run
on those shoulders, and they just.
Yeah.
it's just very hard.
Well, if those shoulders were never put in at like 95%, which they're not.
The alternate to that is the person could run a 2-foot mill along with that shoulder. And fill that up, run it place, and then you go back over it. Shoulder activity. It is an added cost, but it's not as much a cost as additional people.
Right. So,
83.
Yeah, 1 inch.
but then 83 compacted, right? I don't think we have a roller to compact, do we?
Yeah,
You know,
if we were to furnish and install the shoulder aggregate backfill, we would use a road widening spreader, which puts a uniform amount of material out there, screeds it off, then we come back behind it, motor grader and a roller.
Do you have moisture to get your compaction?
It depends, it depends on the moisture. Typically, we can get pretty good moisture content on the like 1 place, 83 address.
You can save you $20,000 a mile if you do from a 26 to a 20 foot. It's just doing that, just doing it.
So is there any kind of, cost savings if we did more in one move-in?
Yeah. It's production based.
Sure, I
The
understand.
larger the project, the narrower my margin.
I've talked to a lot of estimators that would argue that and say, oh, no, we can't. So.
Yeah.
Okay. You have any other questions?
my question is, you said, the wedge would be finer aggregate, is that because on one edge it's real narrow or?
Correct, yeah, you just don't want to be dragged, which is the same way with just a standard overlay. The 1 inch overlay. We would use the same type of mix with a 1/2 inch, not on that side aggregate. Typically, you'd like to see 3 to 1, but 2 to 1 you can do, so you wouldn't use a 3/4 inch normal on that side aggregate with 1 inch overlay.
Because
At minimum, you'd want to, at that point, it was 3/4.
okay, yeah, so you want your overlay to be 3 times as thick as your British aggregate.
Typically, that's
On a road like this. I just comes down to cost,
yeah,
3 miles,
absolutely.
$900,000, knowing how much we got to do.
Yep.
Is this the option? If we had all the money in the world, this is what we would do. This would be the best. Or what I'm getting at is if we,
Is it, yeah,
is there a,
cheaper option?
yeah, that it's still, I mean, I don't want to just save money and get something of way less quality, but is there something in between?
Well, don't.
And that's it?
But you can try that and see what it looks like. I personally don't like to recommend that. When people see that work and they'll look at me as being the one who did that, you know, I think it's not fair for me. Whereas, well, but they don't understand what the owner was doing, but much of that.
So, sorry, I didn't get, what was that you're talking about?
Is there a cheaper option?
Yeah, but what was the cheaper option?
A wedge only?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so do that and then have them come over the top with chip seal then? Is a
I
wedge
would
only
not,
that?
I would not recommend it.
Okay.
Um,
The wedge,
Once again, the chip seals have their place.
Yeah.
But I would not waste money on chip seal or something like that. Unless for some reason you got 5, 7 years down the road, you had some of that unraveling with a wedge element, that would start to happen, and then you'd want to seal that.
Does hers all do anything? We've had people come in here with asphalt companies talking about. Oh, I'll use a slurry seal. Maybe that's the right term, maybe it's not.
Or like an elastomeric.
Elastomeric.
So there's three standard maintenance treatment options: chip seal, slurry seal, microsurface. So, and then, John had mentioned me, Advanced Brothers had suggested a product. I don't know what category that product fits into, but it definitely fits into the maintenance treatment category. Not gonna provide any additional structure for that road. It's not going to smooth out that road.
Yeah, they
They're
actually,
probably going to be on a similar 3-year cycle with it.
they actually kind of qualified that in the same way that what they're doing is that particular installation was to basically enhance the longevity of what we have out there.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, they were quoting about closer to, if I remember right, 5 to 7 years or something like that. But again, the reason we're looking at it, the manner we're looking at it is we don't believe any of that because we want to see what it looks like 5 years from now. So as we would bring something like that in, we do some test areas.
Yeah.
Also go and visit some areas that they're doing it in, seeing what kind of longevity they're getting.
And I haven't seen that road.
Right.
Different states and counties and municipalities, they kind of do something with it.
Oh, yeah.
Nebraska's a lot on that stuff. Kansas is a lot of seal coat with a hard river aggregates. Missouri on that side of it, they use a lot of like heat out there.
Yeah. Which I'm assuming some of that comes from what their quarries have locally, what they can provide locally.
Right.
And I'm assuming that when we were talking about how far you go has a lot to do with heat loss and, you know,
It
before you
does.
start.
I would start
moving
haul
on.
100 miles
Right,
in the spring or fall. I'm kind of trying to do it in my 4-month window throughout the like spring, summer, or fall.
All those done, going across 290 between 73 and Prairie. There is, the wheel ruts are starting to really show right now. But I think it's probably the frost and a little bit. But there's places on Prairie that there's at least 4 to 6 inches.
Yeah, when I mentioned that, when I drove it, it seemed structural sound to me. Driving through in the winter is the best time to evaluate them for it, necessarily. Yeah, spring is usually the best time. Everything's stalled out and they're in more wet environments, whereas even the middle of summer will dry out. Pretty solid, whatever.
Right.
It gets softened up on the spring and fall.
I'm just punching the calculator, doing the math.
Yeah,
So if I take yours as presented, giving a 20-year life, that's $14,750, basically a mile a year. That's what that works out. So if we chip seal and I just use 25,000, I didn't factor in any. I assume that won't get cheaper, you know, so that figures 8,333 a mile a year. So, but for the 14,750, you get a better quality road. You're gonna smooth some things out. And you're gonna get a little structure, but you don't get the chip seal. It's just.
You can save your money in the long run over the time period. Right?
Yeah, he mentioned he didn't put an
in the long.
inflation factor on.
So
Yeah.
that road in total from Old 36 up to the county line, how many miles is it?
All
All 30 threads, yeah.
There'd be 1 mile carries and then there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we go all the way to State County.
It's about 8 miles according to Canyon. So,
That's 240, right?
yeah,
Oh, no, it would be 10.
I got 10 according to this map. I'm cheating.
okay.
They're cheating.
Sorry, for some reason I was just going with the 20.
And.
And also, you hadn't had the opportunity to look over, but the way the light structure is projects, if you want the price basis. You get what you pay for. Every ton that I lay is only what you pay for. I'm not going to post 3 inches, that's going to be some price. I'm going to post 3 inches, and if I can get that done with 2 or 3/4 of an inch, that's what you're paying for.
I see.
So are you doing it like linear foot? Or how does it
Per ton,
per ton? Okay.
So this is Brian Jones, with
Hello.
We're
Hi.
talking about road.
Hey.
Johnson.
So-
Sure. You decide. Certain, be included in that.
correct. That's all, and the only thing it would not include is pavement marking, you guys should. put that on. You don't.
Which there's no payment markings.
No.
It's in the packet. Oh, it's not. Thanks.
Yep.
So I have a little experience with roads because I've been here for a whole year.
Okay.
Okay, that's why I ask questions about options. I mean, I do understand the money side of this, but. When you present me with a 20-year option, we need to be honest on the math side that we are locking in our costs for the next 20 years. We're paying it all up front. So that's worth something. If you get a better quality road, that's worth quite a bit. But $900,000 on just 2 miles, what about the other?
Well, when you have
267?
80
Yeah.
mile about,
Yeah, so.
which is why you then mentioned.
Yeah.
So you're thinking about. We're at 265,000 miles, is that right? 280
Yeah, roughly 280
mile,
for that tree.
okay, and that's for a
Essentially, it's a 3-inch overlay.
3-inch overlay.
So $20,000 a mile, if we narrowed our roads up, by the time we did the extra legwork of building up a shoulder. Is that a cost save, is that worth going for, or do you just lay the pavement down? And
Well, at that point, you might be getting your average shoulder.
okay,
And to me, one of the things you look at also with we already get complaints all the time that the roads aren't wide enough, which
They are.
I know what you're saying. So even, we've been talking about identifying what we consider our Brown County's haul roads based off of the number of semi trucks and where most of the farmers are running their trucks during harvest and during, well, basically delivering grain. So at some point, that might be one thing also where the haul roads remain what they are.
Yeah.
And the other roads go back to, a 24, which it sounds to me like if you drive around the state in Missouri and Nebraska, that's typically what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Is that's your experience?
Now, the difference between Missouri and Nebraska, and Missouri has 3 times the volume. State.
Yeah.
That's because back in the 50s, they took all the farm market roads, the county roads, the gravel roads. And the state took over ownership of that. So. A rural road in Missouri. Is an asphalt pavement. A rural road in Kansas is a gravel road.
Mhm.
Here, that's just. Which, chips.
With the elevator in Fall City. There's a tremendous amount of trucks coming across 31 now.
Yeah.
So. I guess it just depends on what the market is.
but they're local trucks
Yes,
heading
yes.
west.
Yeah, but I mean-
I would say there's more trucks on that now than there's.
Sure.
just
But-
coming down the road.
But that's kind of where we're going is identifying what do we consider the haul roads?
Right.
The Baker Road, obviously, Prairie Road, obviously. 320th, like you're saying. So. We've got lots of thinking to do.
I understand, yeah. If you guys want to meet again, if you got time to think about that, those may be additional questions.
Right.
I want to have that. And even if you wanted to, like, talk for here. Try this other option out, or if you wanted to do a hybrid between the two.
Well. One of the things that comes to my mind, of course, we'd have to talk about it, but is also doing like a test area. And seeing what it looks like and seeing how it improves. And when I say test area, you go to some of your worst spots, and Prairie unfortunately has some of our worst spots on it. Would you agree, John?
As far as cracks and level.
Unlevelness, yeah. The cracks is one thing that we're talking about addressing various methods. But when you have, well, number one, the crown is bad on a lot of the roads. And then you have your ruts where the semis are coming over the crown and you're getting the ruts just on both sides of the crown. That's what I'm talking about, because that's what's catching the trucks when they're going down, their wheels are doing this. So looking at a spot that would be considered really bad and trying to figure out bringing you guys in.
So this is going to take a tremendous amount of thought. And if this is appropriate, so on a 3-level job versus a 3-mile job versus a 100-mile job, can you tell me roughly what the cost structure would look like? I mean, is there a reduction factor of 5%, 10%? I mean, just, and if you don't,
I would say between 5 and 10.
between 5 and 10, okay.
You guys would bring your own plant in.
Well, even then, I have to think it's logistics, that's where all that material is coming from.
Yeah.
Whereas the closest quarry that can produce a quality asphalt product. From here. I believe the closest quarry may be Du Bois.
I think it's the poison.
So
John, how long?
that gets me kind of on the wrong end,
Okay.
so.
So John's been going to Du Bois and hauling some rock here recently. So what's it take to get up there,
Hour and a half, hour.
to get there?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, with their back.
Oh, to get there and back. Okay.
Yeah, then I need to get
Then
sand there somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know what the sand source is over up there, and then I look at asphalt, so. We are our own asphalt terminal, so my asphalt is out of the terminal. Outside of that, closest terminal is in one.
So the aggregate, the same. Do you ever get in a situation where you get on a larger scale project and say, but the owner of the road just pile that themselves and you come get it out of our yard? Does that ever make sense?
I never know.
Okay, I have no idea.
Yeah, the only way that would make sense is if for some reason you guys have such large buying power and capacity, you can get a lot cheaper price.
Right.
Okay.
I've never seen it.
Which we can't.
Okay. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
All
And then, depending on where you put that, it may not be.
right. Right spot, yeah, sure.
So, my thought has been that. We ground up a few road, not more than a mile or so, but just ground it clear back up to your 9 inches and gone back and packed and added a little bit of rock to it, and then just gone back and packed it good with it. Not sure how they packed it before, but
Hold in place, recycle. Construction method.
it don't, okay, then hold up,
Do not touch the structure of that road.
okay.
Unless we have a problem already.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if your road base is good, compaction is good, and you don't have a problem with water, then going in and
Then no.
disturbing it doesn't do a lot.
Now, matter of fact, usually there's lots.
Just thinking that
Been
was
down that road.
one way to level it more, but. that's-
Can I ask a different question? Or is it a tough question to ask? Okay. Everybody's got to make money. I'm on the outside. I don't just work for government. I'm also a developer on the private side. Okay.
Yep.
My inputs are about, from what I understand on this, about 55 a ton.
On asphalt?
Yeah, 45 to 55 a ton if I get my bitumen based off of rock. You know, I'm at $22 to $28 a ton, on 22, 28 bucks a ton, depending on rock. And then my bitumen at volume, I'm somewhere around 45 to 50 bucks a ton. Then I get,
Mine's all in.
yeah,
You can't purchase asphalt anymore.
I know, there's no way I can purchase it.
No, I can't make it.
Okay, well, then I need to, I'll have to understand more of the inputs, but what I'm trying to get to is. If I'm using 2,200 tons. Right, this is 4 times that, you're at 7,700 tons of asphalt.
Correct.
For a 3-inch overlay.
Yep.
Right? We're at 110 a ton. I see that. Right?
Just looking over your shoulder.
Labor in that is, I mean, you've got. Again, I don't know exactly what you're making for, I don't know, you're hauling it. I get that, but. There's no way on God's green earth that a government can swallow $265,000. On 3 miles of road. We
Yeah,
can't-
no, that's
We can't do it.
up to you guys to figure out.
No, there's no
if
way.
It's an option for you or not.
There's no way.
I can't.
So
That's cold.
what I'm saying is that there's no way.
Yeah.
So. Sedgwick County had its own cold. Right, and they had reasons for that. I'm not saying that was a good thing or a bad thing, I'm just saying they had their own crew. I understand costs of equipment, needing to put people in the field, right? We got a $4 million budget. We got 200, and reality, we got at least 150 miles of hole. Right? If we don't figure out how to stretch this, there's no way. Now, there is a way. If we did some projects that were larger. Okay, we could bond. Larger scale projects. Yep. Right? But I'm not gonna get $265,000 a mile. And I know that's margin. If I were developing and building, I would amateurize my equipment. I would put all that in there, and I understand there's a risk that as a business person, you're taking to do that, and you gotta have a profit margin to make money. So I'm not trying to tell you to negotiate against yourself, I'm trying to present a reality of what we're trying to wrestle. Okay? So whether there's an option about trying to build up a base in a different way, right? Whether it's you or whether it's APAC, the market is between $250,000 and $285,000 between here and China. So that's the market all day long. You're not outside of that market. We can't afford the market, so we're trying to come up with different ways to think about how to do it. Because over 25 years, if we do 3 miles a year, that base is going to degrade unless we put a sealer over the top or we keep the asphalt moist. We're going to have to come back in and start doing 2-inch mill and overlays. And we're not going to stay in front of our budget. Also, there's an escalator that comes in there, 3 to 5% over what that looks like, and we don't have that budget. We're a rural county with a declining population base that we got to fix as well. So I'm trying to figure out, and maybe this is a challenge. I'm not trying to speak on behalf of the commission. I have a hybrid role here. I also do some administration, also the county administrator or county over, right? In addition to county counselor, to get that. Is there any hybrid option?
Yeah, we talked about that. It largely depends on the existing profile of roadway that you have. The reason why that I suggested a 3-inch wedge overlay is because of the severe crown that is in that road. The irregularities, the rutting, everything in that road. You have to have a pretty substantial wedge to be able to correct all that. Then after you wedge it, you have to have a uniform thickness of overlay from that point. Right. If I'm able to get it wedged with 1 inch, can I come back over to 1.5 inches? Possible, right? So, and I mentioned that to him, that if we can figure out how to get this road built with an average of 2 to 3/4 inches, we're going to do it. Okay. Pricing is based on unit price basis.
Yep.
You get what you pay for.
Yep, absolutely. Well, that's only questions that I have. I understand. I'm not trying to put this in.
Yeah, and I can even answer some of the questions that are also the mix.
Yeah, how do we get where you're at?
Yeah, all mixes, people don't know, there's thousands of different asphalt mixes, but
Right.
in general, surface mix has about 6% liquid asphalt. And you can write that down.
Oh, no, I understand.
But your current index, whatever, is somewhere a little over $500 or something.
Okay.
Your coarse aggregates are in and around $35 a ton delivered.
Yep.
My sand right now is coming out of Kansas City. I don't even have a local sand source.
Really?
No. So the Corps did away with the permit to the Missouri River about 5 years ago and had to renew it. So all my sand's coming. I can't say. It's $15 a ton in Kansas City and it costs me about another $50 a reference. So even a cheap product, a sand, is $30 per ton in stockpile.
Okay.
Then whether or not you do a recycle mix.
Yeah.
You recycle old asphalt pavement, which can vary anywhere from 10 to KDOT allows up to 30% in most instances. Something like this, I would probably run somewhere between 15 and 20% recycle mix. That helps you reduce your liquid asphalt content, so your 6% is total binder content.
Yep.
If I put 15 to 20% recycle in it, I'm going to lower my virgin asphalt content to somewhere between 4.5 and 5%.
So is that grindings?
Yeah.
How long can grinding sit someplace and still be usable?
Yeah, so they oxidize, but when they do oxidize, they stiffen up the pavement. And the way that you counteract that, you use a softer virgin asphalt. They grade those. Like the standard grade is 6.22. And then if you have a stiff wrap combined with it, you drop your lower temperature to 58.20. The opposite way on an interstate, when you have heavy truck traffic, a lot of truck traffic, you typically have ready softer asphalt, so there you raise your life grades. So then you want to go with a stiffer asphalt, you bump it up with a 70, 22, 70, 28, 76, 20, 76, 28. A lot of those get into polymer type asphalts.
So you're at,
And then you have haul.
So I hate to be the stopwatch.
no, you're good. Yeah.
But we're already, we went 10 over.
Okay.
Brian, I appreciate your time and I would imagine you're gonna hear from us again,
Yeah.
at least some questions. This is sort of a road transition year because of just the way things fell. But it is,
You have a card, Brian?
yeah, there you go.
Thank you for being so direct and I appreciate taking the direct question. I'd love one too. Yeah. If you have one, that's fine. You just choose one, that's fine. It goes to the Richard's more important items.
It'll be just a little lost. Yeah.
How long have you been with Erdog?
I've been with the company over 25 years and I've been doing heavy highway for 21.
Okay,
Very good.
well, thank you very much. Really.
Thank you, sir.
We need to talk more.
And as I said, when I first sat down, I'm here to help out.
Yeah.
Anyway, Paul.
So our commission,
And even if you don't go with me, I'll do everything I can to steer you guys.
Your price is Dale. You're right. Like when I was saying, I'm not trying to take quotes away, but you're right. Where everybody's at.
But I think you're still alive, you know, you can't just. You'll lower this.
When did he pass away?
2001.
Okay.
Stan was 19. Randy.
I did a lot of work with Herzog in California.
Okay.
We were your subcontractor on a lot of the big
What area?
MTA
Okay,
projects.
sure.
You guys showed up out there and we did your electrical.
Yeah, so that's part of our national construction group. That's where I started.
Mhm.
So that's the main part of it. Construction business. In Florida on the construction side.
okay,
Yeah.
Well, thank you. We're
Thank
sorry to cut you off.
No.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, have a good afternoon.
well, and just due to the nature of our commission here, you might get a phone call from Mr. Tessalero, and that's fine. He doesn't really, by himself, he can't really make decisions, but he is our ambassador. He's talking to you, so,
Yeah, feel free to email me too.
yeah. Wonderful.
Thank
you very much.
Appreciate that.
Okay. Now is the time. We're a little off schedule, but looking at it, I think we're gonna be okay. Sean, we're gonna make you wait a minute, and just a little bit, okay? So So we'll get back on the schedule here. Essentially, we're gonna go into executive session with you for 15 minutes, all right, to discuss non-elected personnel. And what are you thinking here? Duties, compensation, negotiations, what are we talking about? Okay, so I would make a motion that we go into executive session, and who's present? You want, is Nikki gonna be in here too? Yes. Okay. We go into executive session for 15 minutes with the three commissioners, a county clerk and road and bridge foreman, John Sellen, to discuss non-elected personnel duties, compensation and negotiation.
Attorney in there or not?
What?
Did you say the attorney was in there or not?
Oh, and, well, he's usually in here.
He's,
Usually, we'll keep him in here too. And County Councilor Austin Park, thank you. 15 minutes. Is there a second?
I will second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. 15 minutes. That means we'll come back about 2:29. We'll get Austin. So yeah, I'm sorry, you have to bounce out. We lost him in here.
Or maybe he doesn't need to be.